Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and today I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. We're continuing our top 100 favorite characters in Star Wars. This is part 2. We'll be doing numbers 75 through 51 today. I was like, last week I was like, maybe we do a full 50 for the first episode. And there came a point when we were about 6 or 7 characters in 40 minutes. And I was like, okay, so it's going to be 25 per episode. That's just how it's going to be. And I worry that people will be like, well, I don't really care about 100 through 75, 100 through 76, 75 through 50. But I can tell you, we make discussion out of it just fine. For sure, we make discussion out of it just fine. This is I don't know how we do it, but we can go on forever about any given Star Wars character.
Oh yeah, they give us. It's insane that like there are like Star Wars encyclopedias out there. Like now we have like wikis and stuff for that. But like before that was a thing. Like I remember having like Star Wars books as a kid where it'd be like, all right, here's this species, and then here's like 4 pages of like huge, like this is a huge book too, and it's like just full of text and like everything on them, and like each character like that's in the species and like everything, and like I don't know, just the amount of information that's in Star Wars is insane. And I don't know, it's made me realize like just how deep like it can really go.
How deep the lore goes when you start drawing up this list and you get to 55 and you feel like you've got main characters on your list in some capacity. Like that's crazy.
Damn.
And maybe not main characters, but the prominent.
So yeah, like respectively, like within their show or like within whatever, like
pretty big deals.
Oh yeah.
And with that, I say we kick it off 75 through 51 for this episode, the next 25. So I'll start with my 75, and here I've got Cad Bane. Got Cad Bane at 75.
Okay. Interesting. That's let's see, I'm trying to spot him on mine. Might be a pretty big jump there.
All right.
Okay. He fell a little bit. Okay. Still a pretty big jump.
Still a pretty big jump though. Still a pretty big jump. But yeah, Cad Bane, man. I fuck with Cad Bane, and that's the thing about this list. I fuck with 1 through 100, which is because there's more than 100 characters that I thought of, and these are just the 100 that made the list. I fuck with all of them, but Cad Bane made it really hard for me with the Book of Boba Fett. Not for any reason that's like, they did him dirty. Oh, they fucked him up. Nah, he shot my man's. He shot my man's Cobb Vanth, and for that I can't forgive.
He's still alive though.
Oh yeah, he's and that's the thing, he shot Hunter and he shot Cobb Vanth, and
he shot him in the shoulder on purpose.
They both lived.
He knew he wasn't going to kill him.
Yeah, they both lived. But nevertheless, it put a bad taste in my mouth. And
Fair.
Anyone who chooses to spend time with Toto is is fucking insane. So yeah, Cad Bane comes in my 75. Super badass. One of the best bounty hunters in all of Star Wars. But I think he might be my first occurring bounty hunter on this list. Oh, I have IG-11 earlier, but yes, other than IG-11, this is my second bounty hunter.
I'll save my Cad Bane talk. It'll be in a couple episodes.
All right.
But my 75, I'm starting out with Jabba the Hutt. I don't know. I felt like he needed to be on here somewhere for, even though the big piece of shit he is, whatever.
Iconic.
Yeah. It's
Iconic
Jabba
piece
the
of
Hutt,
shit.
like, and the Leia choking him out, like with her own chains, like that moment is like iconic enough to just be like, yeah, he I guess he belongs on here. I gotta mention him just to bring up the Jabba moments.
No, and I'm glad you have him on your list, because I don't think I ended up adding Jabba the Hutt onto this just because I'm not. I do respect him for his iconicism. And the character design and everything, the way they brought him to life is fucking fantastic, unbelievable, and just like not replicable. You can't do it again. I don't know how, and they haven't to date. They've not been able to replicate Jabba the Hutt. And I fucking love him because I love Return of the Jedi, but the character's never done it for me. Yeah.
I just think it's more of the moments that he's related with, like with Han, and Han having to be like, yeah, I got you back even better this time, like, exactly. It's so like, oh, this is so easy. What an easy job. Like just all the moments that Jabba sparked. His palace is now Boba's. That's cool. Like all these things, and
it is really funny as you lay this out here for him. Like the way that I can't see past that time that he like licked his lips at Leia, and like from then on it's like, fuck you, dude, I'm done. And all those other moments, it's like, that's now Boba's palace. That's for Boba's character. Leia choked him out. That's for Leia's character. I dispersed it differently than you did. That's interesting.
Yeah, so he's not on here from his own accord. He's on here from all the other characters that boost from him. So yeah,
I respect that. So that was your 75.
Oh yeah,
pretty strong characters there at 75 for us. Cad Bane and Jabba the Hutt. Those are some pretty big ones. My 74 is one that I believe has already been mentioned on your list in the last episode. I got Bendu. I fucks with the Bendu. He's he was the middle. He was the middle. And
truly neutral, that man.
Truly neutral. And the lessons he taught Kanan, and the way he motivated Kanan to become one of the like best. I mean, like by the end of Rebels, that's a strong Jedi right there. In terms of just his principles and stuff. Like he's Qui-Gon Jinn levels of principled Kanan Jarrus by the end of that series. And I think
he has to even use the Force to see. So like he had to learn from someone who was deeply connected. And man,
Bendu is deeply connected. That he fucks with the Force and he's got ties.
He's got ties. That's for sure. Man, he was just chilling. I don't know. What was he doing before, Was he just chilling there?
Homie was just booling.
So, I mean, I guess he lives for ever?
Probably a pretty long lifespan.
How long has he been living? How long, I've never thought about like what his age would be. Or like,
how long has he been alive? Has he always been on this planet? I can't remember. I haven't watched Rebels in a minute. I just remember fucking with the Bendu. Just a really an awesome character design. If I remember correctly, I think I took him in our draft for character design, or maybe it was our Force Sensitives draft that I took him in. But one or the other. But yeah, Bendu had to fuck with the Bendu.
Oh yeah. Coming up next is a Jedi. His name is Ki Adi Mundi.
Adi Mundi, yes.
And for the sole reason of how he decided to go out during Order 66. And because he was just supposed to get shot down, like literally he was on screen. It was just going to show him holding a lightsaber and him get shot down and go. But he decided to be like, no, I'm improvising this moment. This is not how a Jedi Master would go down. And that dude, like, was popping off at the end. He was going like till the last moment, till he could, like until he couldn't. For the people who don't know who I'm talking about, it's the dude with the super elongated head.
Yes.
With the white like beard and white hair.
A legend.
Yeah, on the Jedi, a master on the council. And he just went out in Jedi Master style during Order 66, and I mean that's why he's up here. So I had to sneak him in here somewhere. I just love his moment. He wanted to shine, and he I think he accomplished it.
I'd say so. Yeah, and I've got a few. I think I've got a few prequel Jedi that we'll have a few prequel Jedi mentioned in this episode. Because it's an interesting category because it's a category we don't know a lot about, but because we are prequel babies, we associate them with a great deal of happiness. Therefore I've got a few here that are definitely going to be popping up pretty soon. But yeah, Kiadi Mundi. That's a good 74. He was one of the prequel Jedi who did not make mine because I was fairly certain he would make yours. So my 73 is Queel. My man's Queel. A little low. This is not for any particular reason. It's probably just because I haven't rewatched The Mandalorian in a little bit. You catch me fresh off a Mandalorian rewatch. This guy's probably top 50. The lengths he goes to protect our boys, pretty extensive, including his life. Got the sacrifice play at hand. Just a good dude,
Oh yeah.
He could build anything with his hands.
That he earned his freedom through his hands. Through 3 lifetimes or something like that, right? He worked for the Empire for 3. Oh, like man. Damn.
Well, and that was always something so interesting to me because that means like the Ugnaughts must have some sort of tie to slavery because the Empire didn't exist for 3 lifetimes. So
oh yeah.
So he had to have been in indentured servitude in some other capacity before the Empire, which is really interesting too. And it's just it's just another one of those examples of how the evils of slavery go back further than the Empire in the Star Wars galaxy. It's just another example of that. But yeah, by the end of his life, him rocking with his blurgs and doing his fucking thing. I love that man. I love that man, Queel.
Oh yeah, I he'll come up later on, so I'll save some to talk about him next episode though. Barely. But my 73 is probably a little higher up on your list. I'm assuming this could be a gap, but this is Poe Dameron.
Man.
I don't know. Out of the sequel characters, I think they did Poe really well. He wasn't even supposed to live really for that long, and I think they realized how just good of an actor and how good of a character they had. Decided to stick with them, and I'm glad they did. I don't know. I think he brought he was just a perfect pilot. He filled the role perfectly and had some interesting pasts about him. With Spice and
This is real interesting. When did you have Cassian Andor on your list? A little break to the last episode, real quick.
93.
93 for Cassian Andor.
And Poe Dameron is 73.
All right, so Poe Dameron is barely the second biggest gap behind Cassian Andor. But Poe Dameron will not be coming up for me next episode.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
That's interesting. Yeah. But also understandable, critically underdeveloped, I think, for the role he played. I think he deserved a little bit more than what he got, as did most of those characters, frankly, though. And Poe Dameron, just a strong pick. I'll save mine for more when he comes up for me later. But one of the best fucking pilots ever, man. He's dope.
Yeah, I know. A lot of the sequel characters are they're going to be some pretty big gaps. Like I will go through a lot of the sequel characters in this episode.
Oh, interesting.
So,
yeah, and I don't know if I have another sequel character for a couple. So that'll be interesting. Maybe next episode.
Well, I guess only two really.
Well, and that's the thing is I think I might only have 3 more sequel trilogy characters on my entire list, or 4 more sequel trilogy characters on my entire list, which is interesting.
I think that actually is true for me as well. This episode only 2, but I think 4 more total.
Interesting, which means you have 1 more sequel trilogy character than I do. Well, depending on what you define as a sequel trilogy character, you know. Did he just appearing in the sequel trilogy? Does that count? I don't know.
I would say like
originals to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I think I have 4 more straight up, and none of them will be until the top 25.
Never mind, I was wrong. Only 3 more. 3
yeah,
more.
I was going to say there are only 4 characters I expected to be on the rest of the list for you.
So yeah,
all
but
right.
gaps.
They're Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren. Those But it'll be interesting. I'm excited.
Oh wait, no, I was right because it's literally this next one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
No, I was right. I thought I didn't have them in bold because I bolded the rest. But 72 is Snoke.
Snoke. Yeah, Snoke was not on mine.
Technically Palpatine or whatever, but
that's kind of where I was going to lump him in.
Yeah. I'd say this is an original character though for the sequels. Like this.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was obsessed with Snoke. And what happened to him was whatever. I thought it was going to be a much, much bigger deal. I thought this was a dude that was deeply, but it makes sense that it's Palpatine. I think it makes the most sense that it's him. It's just the fact that it is him, that even Palpatine is here in the first place is like sits uneasy with me. So, but I thought like the character of Snoke was just badass. Like,
dude, super fucking cool. Awesome character design. And where he uses his lightning to like bounce off the floor at Kylo Ren. That's super fucking cool.
And like whenever he has Rey and like, he's just like the way he uses the Force, like how effortless he makes it seem like, just like a one finger or like just something like that. Like they made him feel and look powerful. Like there was no question about it that this dude was powerful. Like
that's one of the reasons that scene in The Last Jedi where he goes, like that's one of the best theater moments I've ever had. Just because I was just like, what? Like, no.
They actually
like,
this is happening.
Like that was genuinely one of the largest plot twists I've ever experienced in a theater, which was genuinely very, very cool. Sadly, I got Han Solo's death spoiled for me before I went into The Force Awakens, but that would have been pretty big, but saw it coming. So,
yeah. I was surprised he didn't like just die right away in The Force Awakens. Like I thought it was like if he's in it at all, he's just in it to die. Like this dude just wants out of Star Wars. But yeah, I think so. I do have 4, I guess. 5 total. Yeah, it's 5 total sequel characters on my list, and they're all in this episode. So there we go.
There you go. But yeah, with that, I'll go on to my 72, where I've got a Rogue One character. I've got Baze, Chirrut's homeboy.
The heavy gunner.
Yeah. Primarily for his last moments. That's enough to propel him here. Whenever he's marching through the field towards Chirrut's body, and I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. And like, oh my God, dude, moves me to tears every time, just like the rest of the end of that movie. And one of the best duos in all of Star Wars in Baze and Chirrut, to be honest. And I mean, there's even a moment where he calls Jyn like little sister, towards the end of the movie, where like he says like, I'd follow you anywhere, little sister, or something like that. And it's like, oh my fucking God, I fucking love this. But yeah, those founding members of the Rogue One team, I fucks with them on a very deep level, and Baze is no exception. That man's a king.
Oh yeah,
absolutely love that guy.
Another guy. Speaking of ways for people to go out, he went out.
Oh, they just nailed the ending in Rogue One, dude. It is so good. Every time I think about it, I just get chills, dude. And yeah, Baze is no exception. Baze Malbus. His ending is pretty epic, and they definitely made a moment of his. He takes a few before he goes down. He eats a few shots.
Oh my god, another sequel character that I have 6 of them now in this episode.
Oh,
I just keep, I don't know why. I just can't there's 7. Literally, oh my god, there's another one. Okay. Wow. Okay. I actually have, that's insane. Anyway, next up, BB-8.
Yes.
A very sequel character.
Came above mine. He was my last one in the last episode. He was my 76.
Yeah. So he's my 72. So there, wow, just so many sequel characters. I don't know why I can't just read and be like, oh yeah, sequel character. But yeah, I don't know. BB-8, like, cool asteroid. We've already talked about him. I like orange. It's an underutilized color. Cool that he gets it. Cool shape. Actually working physical droid, like on set, like that was a real thing. That wasn't CGI for most of it, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, gotta love BB-8. It's that dude. So yeah, there's a.
No, yeah, BB-8's a king. And whenever he flicks his lighter up at Finn, it's fantastic.
Yeah, the little thumbs up.
Yeah,
so cute.
He's a cutie.
Yeah.
He's a cutie. But yeah, BB-8. That was your 71.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. My 71 is Barriss Offee. I believe this is another one that came up last episode for you.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really loved her character in the Clone Wars as a companion for Ahsoka, and her fall to the not to the dark side, but to the depths she dives to oppose the Jedi are pretty appalling. But understandable to a degree. She doesn't believe in what they've become. She believes in a more pure Jedi way, and it took her to some pretty deep depths. Her using Asajj Ventress's lightsabers was pretty fucking cool. Thought that was awesome. But yeah, Barriss Offee, really awesome character.
An appearance in the Book of Boba,
like a little hint
like
at Barriss Offee.
Very interesting. Putting that in there. Maybe not. Definitely not. I don't know, for a future Grogu thing, which is interesting. There's no way they put that there for, like, they have to put that. They recreated this whole
for a reason.
Like, every detail is there for a reason.
Yeah.
But that's super interesting. Moving on though, another droid, pretty big droid here. It's C-3PO. He should be higher, but like he's really just there to be like the annoying comic relief.
Yeah, I get why. He's a guy you want to like more than you do.
Yeah.
He like represents something bigger than he actually is. Like his image defines Star Wars. He's who we're first introduced to in A New Hope. You want to like him a lot, but there's something about him that you're just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, he's iconic, and that's pretty much all that he's got going for him.
And I mean, the actor is fucking fantastic.
Like, and speaking on the sequels, like, he has a moment that makes me cry, like when he's with Babu Frick taking the last look at his friends. Like, oh my God, like, come on, man. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, he's not as favorable as everyone else that comes, above him here, in my opinion. So just, he's above BB-8 though. I gave him the little.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But no, and Anthony Daniels is C-3PO. One of my favorite. Like, he plays the character exactly as the character's supposed to be played. Like, it's not like it's like, oh well, this is just falling apart for me, that's why he's so low and so annoying. No, like, he is meant to be that annoying. Like, he's supposed to be annoying and kind of like, so like they're nailing it. And he is funny, and like, It's just that like the droids that don't talk are usually more fun than the droids that do.
Yeah, and that's that holds true to this list at least. Pretty much.
It does. That's another pretty sizable difference for us, but not as sizable as Poe or Cassian Andor later on. But at my 70, I've got my first Star Wars Visions character making an appearance, and F. She is the Jedi who appears in The Village Bride. And this is primarily appearing because The Village Bride is my personal favorite episode of Visions.
Beautiful episode.
And her moment at the end where she defends the village at the last second with the Machina, may you rise. That shit's badass. You know, it brings me to chills every time I watch it, and it's very beautifully animated. Seemingly a survivor of Order 66, perhaps. So just very, very interesting. Her heels launching forward, her yellow lightsaber, the way she brings it back. Dude, it's awesome.
That moment was, man, I got to rewatch all those episodes. Forgot how cool those were. Like, man, all those characters, like, just in that little time that they had for that episode, like, made you care so much. Like, I'm glad you have her on here, because
and like another thing that propels that episode is the soundtrack. Like, it's so beautiful, that episode of Visions, and you know, she defines that episode for me. F, but her mask and everything, super fucking cool. But yeah, so that's who I've got at my 70.
All right, moving on to 69. Got
a very, very important rank.
Oh yeah, very important. Another sequel character.
Oh yeah,
sticking along with it, Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata, damn it! If there's anyone you've said so far that I am pissed I forgot and didn't put on my list, it's Maz Kanata.
Yeah. Who knows how she got that lightsaber? We never figured out. It's just a story for another day, I guess. Still, but I don't know. She's just wise, very cool, badass. And like coming into that FaceTime call that they had with her, basically, she's just doing her own thing.
I wish she could have just been a part of it. You know?
I wish she could have done more, like a little bit more with her. I think maybe there was more planned with her. It's just the different directions that they decided to go that kind of maybe she got swept under the rug. But I don't know, what we got from her, I think was cool. And I was kind of in the sequel mindset, in this area is where the sequels kind of land for me. Anyways. So I guess it makes sense why all of the characters are in here.
I fall right here. No, that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah.
No, yeah. If there's any character so far that I'm like shit, and now we're officially at a point where it's too late. Like last episode, if it happened, I could kind of like slip it in higher and bump one down and not really care about who I'm losing. But now we're to the point now where everyone here needs to be here. I can't just slip one out and let Maz Kanata slide in. But yeah, that's a great choice. And it's interesting, my 69, I'm staying in a similar, not exactly the same realm, but similar. Pelimoto.
Oh yeah. I don't have Peli. Yeah. That's a sad.
Dude, I love Peli, played by Amy Sedaris. Her introduction whenever you're watching The Mandalorian, and I think she pops up for the first time in the Gunslinger episode, episode 4 or 5. I think it's 5. It introduces Toro Calican and Fennec Shand and all of them, and and the first time she pops up, she takes a second. She takes a second to grow on you, I'd say. But I think we've gotten enough Pelimoto now to where I'm like, oh, I fucking love
There's
Pelimoto.
a reason they stuck with her,
Oh, yeah. She is perfect for the Star Wars universe. She makes so much sense in the role she's playing. It's so good. But yeah, Pelimoto and her affinity for droids and working with so many of them, and her ability to speak so many different languages. She can speak frog. She can
Jawas,
Huttese, Jawaese. She's doing all of this. She wants fucked a Jawa. They search through her dumpster.
That's canon. That's some canon shit right there.
Peli want to fuck with the Jawa.
Yeah. I'm sad that she's not on my list, but thank you for bringing her up. She definitely.
Yeah, I also thought it was just like, she's perfect for my character at number 69.
Here's 68. Have Commander Cody. The
Commander Cody.
Yeah, remember that other actor that had Tamara Morrison. Remember that whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll clear it up. If anyone even knows at all what I'm talking about. I once thought that a different actor played Commander Cody in the prequels for whatever reason, and it wasn't Tamara Morrison. And there was this satirical article or just a joke that's been passed around that says that the actors that play Boba Fett and Commander Cody can no longer ever work together because Tamara Morrison slept with Commander Cody's wife, which is also Tamara Morrison. So
he was just sleeping with his wife.
Yeah, I thought that was a legitimate thing. But yeah, he's a clone.
I'm glad we got the confessional here. We like let it slide in the Book of Boba finale because we were like, you know what? It sounds enough like he might be joking. We'll let it go. But
yeah, I was completely
I'm glad it's been revealed here weeks later.
Yep, just taking the L on this one. I don't know why. I thought it's just because he has hair with Commander Cody and the picture of the side by side of the new Boba Fett, older Tamara Morrison next to the young Tamara Morrison with hair. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe they're different actors, sure. And so yeah.
No, I can understand how you fell into this.
There's my 68, Commander Cody.
I will say you're also not the only person who has fallen into that. I remember as the Book of Boba Fett was like starting specifically, like there were a lot of people going, "Holy shit! I did not realize that the guy playing Boba Fett also played Jango Fett." Like I did not realize that because he is 20 years older and he looks 20 years older. It's not nothing to be ashamed of. Most people look 20 years older after 20 years. And he's still a fucking beautiful man. That man's gorgeous for his age. And for any age,
he's
frankly,
killing it.
That's a beautiful man. But yeah, Commander Cody, that's a good one. I don't have Commander Cody on my list. However, if we're going from the source material from Jango Fett and all of his clones thereafter, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clones. 9 clones.
Assuming all of the Bad Batch squad, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see.
And no clone will be in this episode.
Interesting.
All of them are top 50.
That's good. Yeah, I think. Oh, wow, a big one sneaks in here. Actually, interesting. I didn't know he was. I guess. Yeah. I mean. Okay.
You made the list and you forgot you put him so high.
Or kind of. I guess not really low. Is the thing is that like when we get to 50 is kind of where like.
It's a bunch of main characters.
Yeah, so it's like even though it's low for 100, but like
right.
I got one coming up in here, a clone.
All right, cool.
But yeah,
all right, well, that was your 68 then, though, Commander Cody.
Yep.
All right,
orange. Another orange guy, underutilized.
Oh yes, orange, beautiful.
Yeah.
But my next is another Rogue One character. I got Bodhi Rook, the Imperial pilot who Galen Erso got the best out of and asked, like, is this what you want to be doing? Are you doing the right thing? And got him to get that message to Saw Gerrera. And, he's got one of my favorite deaths across all of Star Wars in a really interesting way because, as far as Star Wars is concerned, most of our deaths are pretty ceremonious. They make a big deal about a lot of people dying. And I think to Qui-Gon Jinn, that was a moment. And I think to, Darth Vader dying, that's obviously a moment. But, when it comes to Bodhi Rook here, it's truly a casualty at war. He got his job done. He had to go open the shield that was to transmit the message. And as soon as he did it, a stormtrooper tosses a grenade right into his ship. And he blows up. and that's just the end. Like it wasn't ceremonious. It was just like, and that was what begins the cascade of deaths at the end of Rogue One that just absolutely devastates us.
Yeah, like he played the part. He did what he needed to do, and like, man, that movie, like that, yeah, that last sequence is just, like, damn, like how every death, like they spread the death out is the thing. They all could have just died in the explosion. That could have been easy. And it still would have destroyed me. But like the fact that they spread all this death out and give you,
like some of them died before they knew the mission was completed.
Yeah,
some of them did their role and passed. And the guy who plays him, Reese Ahmed, the guy who played Bodhi Rook, was a fantastic actor. Just got nominated a couple years back for Sound of Metal. His role in Sound of Metal, he got nommed for I think a Best Actor, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role. He got nominated at the Oscars for it, which is pretty fantastic, and to have an appearance by one of those noms in a Star Wars movie and him bring those chops to it. He did, and Bodhi Rook, one of my favorite moments is in the cell, whenever he's like freaking out after getting all wrapped up by the fucking thing. I can never remember what it's called. It's like but it knows all, like it feels the truth. I can't
I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah,
either,
no,
I know what
know,
you're talking about. I know the thing you're talking about though.
Yeah, but like the way he's like geeking out afterwards and they have to like bring him back to reality. It's just really well performed. And Bodhi Rook. Yeah. So that's my 68.
All right. Got moving on to my 67. Another sequel character, and this one is Finn. And this one, so like all of my sequel characters are in here. All of them are in this episode. And so that means that I somewhat like Rey over Finn. It's barely. And I think I like what Finn could have been a whole lot more than like what we actually got. I like Finn's, the potential that Finn had is unreal. I just think they executed very poorly on his character.
Gotcha.
And like I was thinking about putting, like, I think if they did his character correctly, it would have been my favorite sequel character. A clone, a trooper gone Jedi would just be like, and seeing that happen across 3 movies would be incredible.
No, it really would. It would.
But that's, I put him below Rey kind of for that reason. It's because we never really got fully what I believe his character was meant to be.
I'm with you. I do think that, there is a lot that they could have done with Finn that they didn't. And I just kind of hold out hope that eventually they will. That's kind of where I'm at with Finn's character. And, he won't, this is up there. This is top 5 biggest differences so far. But I'll get to what I really do appreciate about Finn's story whenever I present him later. But yeah, those are completely understandable flaws, because, and it's also the treatment of John Boyega as the actor in that role. He was promised a lot bigger of a role than he really ended up. He was promised a lot more through just the imagery they evoked and stuff. Like
that's
him,
the thing. Yeah, like on
him
the
being
poster.
the promotional piece with a lightsaber. Like I had no idea going into The Force Awakens that Rey was the main character. I thought Finn was the main character.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. That's it. It just did him so dirty. And like, I wish he was higher on the list is the thing. Like, cause like this could have been like such a cool character, but that's why 67. Sorry, Finn. Sorry.
No, understandable. But, with that, I'll go on to my 67. I've got Plo Koon, another prequel Jedi, the one who found Ahsoka, which is really cool. And, and the fact that he was used as the stand-in for Luke Skywalker in terms of the concept art and the secrecy of who's getting Grogu at the end of season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we watch him die in Revenge of the Sith. So it would have been like how the fuck did that happen? Nevertheless, I fucking loved that.
alternate universe confirmed, if that's the case. Ahsoka theory confirmed, if that's for real, Plo Koon. But yeah, that's funny. Dave Filoni's favorite Jedi, right there, which is interesting. Like, what did he really have? Like, what did he do in the original movies? Like, is it Dave Filoni's favorite Jedi? Like, from first watching Star Wars, or like over time?
I'd imagine
he's just.
I think it's kind of like his position within the Clone Wars staff allowed him to get to know the characters a lot better than any of us could actually know the characters. Like, there are probably loads of stories he has that Plo Koon did that we have no idea about. And, there's probably a degree of, like, he's the one who found Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's Dave Filoni's brainchild, and it's kind of his. So, like, there's kind of, like, a connection there. But nevertheless, I've always written it off as just, like, the character design is dope. He's got this, like, air of Obi-Wan Kenobi, mixed with like a Mace Windu kind of stability about him, where he's just like really steadfast in the Jedi way. And I think that Dave Filoni fucked with it on a level that most of us just can't understand, because we haven't gotten much Plo Koon content. However, I would like some Plo Koon content. I like Clone Wars arcs where he's prominent. Yeah. And
he was cool. I liked him. I liked him in the Clone Wars, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's a little higher. He's not in this episode, but he'll come up soon, though.
Interesting.
But,
all right.
Yeah. All right. That leads me to my 66. I think you've already said him. Have you said Tarkin?
Yes.
Yet? So yeah, this is where Tarkin falls for me. Just kind of. I was trying to find like where he sits, and he was just kind of like a guy where I'm like, for the evil role. He fills it super well. Like there are things where it's like, damn, that's he's at some points more like dark than like I don't know. It's a dark dude. He doesn't really have much emotion, and people are kind of more scared of him than Vader. Like at some points, whenever they hear like that Tarkin's coming, or I guess the Emperor's like where they're like, oh, that's where they draw like the line, like when they hear the Emperor's coming. But
yeah,
Tarkin, that's not a good name to hear.
No,
coming your way either. But yeah, I think I don't know. He just kind of I wanted to throw him in there somewhere, like just a super evil presence.
And being as iconic as he is, he's the main guy you hate in Episode 4. Besides Vader at the time, like
dude,
there's like a human
on,
face
man.
to the Empire at the time. It's Tarkin.
You got to really get rid of that, like Leia's home, that beautiful planet we never got to like fully.
You may fire when ready.
God damn. I mean, it looked cool, and like we got to see the whole sequence and like everything, but like, couldn't you have done just like an uninhabited planet? I mean,
couldn't we have just gone to Dantooine?
Yeah, Tarkin made sense. He said if we just do some random planet, no one's gonna get the message, and it's just like, damn, for evilness, you're right, but why do you have to? Why?
Why do you have to be evil, bro?
But
yeah, I feel you. No, that's he was my 79, so yeah, a little bit of a difference there. That was your 66 though. All right.
66.
Cool. Yeah, I have my 66 Miggs Mayfeld, played by Bill Burr in The Mandalorian. Just a couple appearances, but a couple really impactful appearances. Leading Din to his first unveiling of his face, and one of his strongest moments, and being one of the only people who has seen Din's face, which is really interesting. And main big thing for me is him destroying that Imperial base with that shot. That was huge.
That was class.
That immediately made me just like, yeah, this is a guy. I fucks with this guy. And there's that part where they're cruising through the town outside the Imperial base, and he's talking to Din about how like Empire, New Republic, how could these people possibly tell the difference? Those things aren't directly affecting them. They just still live in these conditions. Doesn't matter. You're an outsider's face to them. They need to be like, it needs to be the people, and he's a man of the people.
Yeah, I don't know, just a character that you never expected to see in Star Wars, but he just fits that role well. I don't know, it never expected Bill Burr to be a character that I would enjoy in Star Wars, but I don't know. His storyline was beautiful. Yeah, it's just a nice, concise story. And who knows if we're getting more? Who knows
No,
what he
yeah,
goes
and
off
if we
to
never
do.
see him again,
Yeah.
we never see him again.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy with the way his story is gone, and it's very simple, very straight to the point, and very, very good. But yeah, so Mayfeld definitely my 66, and I don't see him going up much. I don't see him going down much. I think that's probably where he's there to stay. So yeah, Mayfeld.
One last lie that I've said about my sequel characters is that they are all in this episode, and that is not true. One of them is not in this episode.
Gotcha.
But one coming up here, 65, is Rey. This is where Rey sits. And I mean, I used to have a lot of gripes about Rey that I've since foregone. I used to be like, yeah, where's her training? Blah blah blah. Like what is she like? What training has she had? But Luke was trained by Obi-Wan on the way to the Death Star pretty much, and then Obi-Wan dies, and yes, he goes off to get trained by Yoda later, but at the time that he was doing some stuff, he really didn't. So and it's for narratives and stuff whatever. But it's just the whole Palpatine thing that just doesn't sit right with me with Rey. And the whole point of the original trilogy is that Luke starts out as nobody, and then he learns that he's a prodigy child of one of the biggest people in the galaxy, and he still doesn't let that define him. He still is it's still just about good versus evil. I have to save my father. That's what it's about. But then it seems that that's all Rey wants, is to find out who she is, and she needs a name to herself. And it's kind of going against the whole point of where the sequels are going. And I like the direction that they're going more of, that anyone can be a Jedi. You don't have to be a Skywalker. You don't have to be a Palpatine. With the kid with the broom, all of these little things. It's this is way cooler. This is the Force. That's way cooler if it works in that way across the whole galaxy. I am way more down with that. But then they're nope, she's a Palpatine. Palpatine's back. And she I don't know, kind of. It's
no, yeah, and it sounds to me that's the shoehorning of the story. That's kind of that's where the primary problem stems from. It's just kind of the fact that for the first two movies, that was not the plan. You can tell it was a episode 9. We've decided that's what's going to happen, and I can absolutely understand why that feels very forced and very unlikable. I can certainly understand that. I've gone back and forth over time on just my exact feelings on the sequels and stuff, and I now sit in a place that's pretty comfortable with them. And this is while Cassian Andor has the bigger difference by one, this is
a pretty beefy one.
This is a pretty beefy one, just given where she falls on my list compared to where she falls on yours. But
I just, man, I don't know. There's just
more disappointment that you associate with those characters than anything.
There's no, and looking at everyone who's above her, I'm it's just who I favor, who I latched on to more while I watched, and I just couldn't really latch on. Initially I liked Rey, kind of, before the Rise of Skywalker, I was kind of fucking with her, the whole she could be nobody. I was fucking with that story. I wanted that to be where they went. It was either make it Obi-Wan and Duchess Satine's kid, or have her be nobody. That's all I want. It's either Obi-Wan or nobody. And I was fucking with that. But then I don't know. It just kind of took a weird turn, and I don't know. It's just kind of up in the air with her character, but it's kind of like another Finn one where I just don't think they executed perfectly, but they could have, could have made her a top 10 character, because she is, the main character of these sequels. So
no, absolutely, yeah. So and that's the thing is that I anticipated a pretty sizable gap. I did not anticipate below the bottom 50, and now that I've gotten that, I know for sure who the one is in your top 50.
The one that they did okay,
yeah,
and the one that they kind of did all right with.
No, yeah, that's funny too because I think he'll be coming up for me in a couple episodes too. But yeah, all right. So 65 Ray.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna stay in a similar vein according to the Dude Bros. I've got Drash. Just another woman in the franchise who's been criminally overhated by some fuckboys at one point or another. Yeah, I fucks with Drash. I loved the way that she wanted to stand by Mos Espa. I loved the way that I loved the cybernetic enhancements. I loved the mods and in the Book of Boba Fett. She was fucking awesome. There's one shot in the Book of Boba Fett that is I always go to, and it's the angle of her riding up on top of the building, and it's showing her arm and her looking down at who she's chasing, and I'm just like, that's fucking sick. But yeah, Drash, she's dope, and I'm pretty sure she already occurred on your list, so we've gotten some talking in about Drash.
Oh yeah, and who knows, maybe part of the future leaders of Tatooine.
I would like that, like a council of leaders for the Tatooinians. I think Drash belongs on that board. She's dope.
So, oh yeah, mods are cool.
Potential love interest with Joe, the other chick that popped the city girl versus a country girl aesthetic thing going on.
There's something there for sure.
There's something there.
Like she was like, "You're going up there with that gun? No way!" Like she's like, "Nah." Like you can't be doing that. And then like I don't. Yeah, there's something going on there. I can
there's
see
something
it.
there. There's something there.
But
all right. So that was my 65.
64 goes to Pre Vizsla. Yeah. What a switch up going from like sequel. Just
sequel main character to side character for 4 episodes on the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I have I have another I was kind of thinking Mandalorian, any Mandalorian, kind of like in during this time of the list. So there's kind of a lot of people who fall into that category right here. But like anyone that has like any presence with like the Darksaber and there's it's part of the story. Like, come on. We see this dude's head get chopped off. Like it's crazy that like people call this a kid's show and we see this dude get beheaded by Darth Maul. Like straight up on camera right there.
Epic.
And
epic shit.
And like that fight was amazing. Like that like everything. Like, and I know it's Pre Vizsla. It's not the Darth Maul of the fight. It's not like whatever, but like it's just kind of the in-between character for the Darksaber,
Yeah, right.
He just kind of was the one who had it. But,
he was the first person to hold it on screen.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just cool concept, cool things surrounding him.
Leader of the Death Watch. Like he's got a cool resume on him for the Mandalorians, and the Mandalorians are just a really cool corner of the franchise. And Pre Vizsla, not on my list, but good choice. Definitely a good choice.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right, my 64 is Hondo Ohnaka.
Okay, yeah, interesting. I like me some Hondo, so
yeah, I fucks with Hondo Ohnaka, but I don't think we've gotten quite enough of him for me to propel him past some of the guys I've got above him. I love him as a side character, popping up and all this random shit. Loved his affinity for Ezra was fucking awesome. His connection with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm hoping we see some live action Hondo here in a couple months when we see Kenobi.
Please give us some Hondo. Oh, need some Hondo.
I love that man. He's hilarious and just a really fun addition to any Star Wars project you've got going. I loved it anytime he popped up in the Clone Wars or Rebels. And so yeah, Hondo Ohnaka came at my 64.
and not quite in this episode. I'll save some Hondo talk, I guess, for a little bit later. But
awesome.
Moving on, I got another in the Mandalorian vein. I got the Armorer here.
And
the
Armorer
after recently too, like this little extra that we've gotten of her is very interesting part of her character.
It's actually hilarious. The most recent installations to her story are what knocked her off of my list.
Yeah. So and I think it's not that like I still kind of hate her. Like I don't agree like with her. But like the character is still.
Oh no, it's a really cool character.
And
regardless.
and her like in the Mandalorian, like it frames her character differently. Looking back like in the Mandalorian now, but like still there was the experience that we had with her. But before that, where like we really thought that she was like just this true badass, like just character, and like just for that time, that we had there, and like even now, like I don't know, still. She made the armor for Grogu. That doesn't happen without her, It's
pretty epic. She made the Beskar armor on Dune.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think it's a pretty cool concept, of a character, and her costume design is badass.
Super fucking cool. I'm really glad. I'm really glad she's on your list because she was at my 100, and I ultimately bumped her off at one point just because I was like, like I could talk about the Armorer, but you know what? Like right now I'm in a mindset where it's kind of fuck the Armorer, so I put her down to the side. But I'm really glad she popped up on your list because she does deserve some respect for that character design, and I mean the actress Emily Swallow does a really good job in voicing her character. She the way that she is kind of the groundwork for understanding how this entire covet worked and like the way they interacted and the way Din was when we first met him and is kind of still struggling to branch out from. I think that's a really cool aspect of her storyline too. But yeah, the Armorer, that's a good choice.
There we go. 63.
All right, my 63. I'm gonna stick with you in Mandalore. Going the Duchess, good old Satine, baby. Satine Kryze, yeah, she's dope. Just a great ruler. Loved her with Obi-Wan. Sucks that, Obi-Wan had to watch her die and hold her in his arms as he did Maul, as he did Qui-Gon, as he has everyone he's ever cared about.
Damn, this dude. He's been through it.
Yeah. And falls at the hands of Maul in the same episode that I believe Pre Vizsla falls to Maul. So just a couple I think a couple separating those events. But yeah, Duchess Satine. She was such a cool character, and I loved her vision for Mandalore. I think she was a dandy ruler, and it made sense that someone like Obi-Wan Kenobi would have an affinity for her. I think it made sense. Corky Kenobi? Question mark.
Yeah, he was fooling around, he wasn't free of attachment.
Not completely.
Space Jesus, that's a couple I ship.
Aren't you?
That's a couple I ship actually. So
Obatine.
Yeah, I guess moving on. This one's not like a very different direction, I guess. 62. Savage Opress.
Staying in the Clone Wars realm, though.
I guess, Wars. Yeah. Just that dude was scary. Like, I mean, Maul is a different kind of scary because he's like psychotic, but Savage was kind of like
the brute force. God,
he's just strong. Trained by Dooku too, which was sick. And kind of like put Maul in his place, one time, and then Maul. I mean,
No, I always looked at Savage Opress as a means to an end to show us just how awesome Maul is.
Yeah.
You thought this dude could fuck with Maul? You're mistaken. And he was once on my list. I ultimately ended up taking a few over him. But Savage Opress, no, in terms of character design and
trained by my boy. My boy.
And the utility in terms of as just a Clone Wars character. You know, there aren't a lot of characters who have stayed that way, just Clone Wars characters. And Savage Opress is one of the few.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he is a really special character in that regard because he's one of the defining, like, pieces. You know, you tell me, I see Savage Opress, I'm thinking of the Clone Wars. I hear about the Clone Wars, I'm thinking about Savage Opress. Like, it's there's an inherent tie there, and I think Duchess Satine kind of falls under that category too. Just these Clone Wars characters, you know, and I like those. I like that category.
Oh yeah, Savage, like that.
Savage, good shit. I'm gonna stick with you in the prequel era, with a little bit of Luminara and Dooley, Jedi Master Luminara. I really loved Luminara. You know, she was Barriss Offee's master. Any interaction whenever Anakin and Ahsoka were teaming up with Luminara and Barriss, I really enjoyed it. You know, one of the primary reasons I've got Luminara so high here, in comparison to some other prequel Jedi, like I think this is my highest prequel Jedi besides main characters, is because of her 2D micro series performance in the 2D Clone Wars by Gendry Tartakovsky. She has a really awesome scenario in a Kyber crystal cave with Barriss, or with who was supposed to be her Jedi apprentice at the time. I think it might still be Barriss, but I can't remember if they changed her name after the fact or something. But she's just super fucking cool. I always loved the character design, and she was always one of those masters who I felt like got it. You know, kind of knew what the Jedi were about, and wasn't always inspired a degree of independence, which I think is cool.
Her character design is just cool too. She looks really cool. Her voice, you know, she's always very calm and collected. Like all masters, you know, she's a master. Like she's a
master of the Force. Yeah. She is.
I'm glad you had her on here. She didn't make mine.
I figured not. She's kind of and there's also like there's this novelty about her that like I don't see a lot of people talk about Luminara a lot of times. So like I kind of gravitated towards her because I was like, hey, you know what? She deserves some respect. I fucks with Luminara, and also like her utility in Rebels where they reeled Kanan and Ezra in with her being dead and everything. Like
that was like
devastating.
We're getting her back. Yeah, they're gonna save her. Yeah. Oh.
And this is also where my money's at as far as who saved Grogu right now. Luminara and Dooley.
That's sick. Is that you think that's the Barriss? You think that's where the Barriss thing is like stemming from? Is saying that like through like this, like on the immediate level, everyone's gonna think that Barriss had something to do with it, but like no, who's Barriss connecting? Like you got to like.
Well, because like I'm going to Barriss. Is Barriss even at the temple anymore? Is she there? You know, she got arrested earlier, so like who might in this moment of terror flock to her former Jedi apprentice's place to kind of hide, or like was there for whatever reason,
or maybe
like, was remembering her Padawan.
Maybe she took over Barriss's like everyone who followed Barriss, like maybe just like took over and like was like, all right, like you guys were kind of out there, let's bring it back in, you know. Let me teach you the ways again. Let's calm down. Let's not go all evil mode. I don't know what happened to those other Jedi that were with, because there were followers of Barriss, right? Like there were people within the Jedi Order that kind of followed her, or was she completely on her own?
If I remember correctly, they didn't like. There might have been mention of a couple who agreed with her, but I don't know that they followed her.
Okay, never mind. Okay, interesting.
That were just kind of like, you know what, she's right. You know, like that were kind of like she's got the right idea. But now, Luminara is that's where my money's at for who saved Grogu. I think the fact that she survived Order 66 and was later captured by the Empire is a huge part of that.
I thought I forgot someone, and I had to make sure they were on here real quick, and they are. And I was like, whew. I almost had like a who moment. It's just because my next one is the first that I'll mention someone from a video game. But it's a droid, and it's BD1.
BD1. He'll be coming up in a little bit for me.
And I don't know is in Book of Boba, there is a scene where this BD droid limps like with his leg. Like his leg is hurt for a little bit and he starts limping. And BD1 does this same exact thing. Like it was just on TikTok where I saw it, like the side by side. And like, if this somehow is BD1, you know, like
it'd be pretty cool.
I don't know. So, but regardless, if this is live action BD1, like BD1 in the game just by himself, like makes this list. So like,
oh my God, he's the cutest fucking droid in all of Star Wars. No, like I was hoping so badly that whenever Mando left Tatooine, that he'd have Grogu in the back there and the BD unit on his shoulder, and like they were gonna ride together. That was gonna be the crew, and I was like, fuck. I wanted him to have a BD droid, man. And I hope whenever he does inevitably at some point warm up to the idea of kind of having a droid companion, I hope it's a BD unit. He'll be coming up. BD1 will be coming up for me in a couple spots.
Yeah. I thought he was just a nice one to slip in there. Just a 61. But yeah, BD1. First video game mentioned.
First video game. Yeah. But my 61, I'm going to stick with you in the droid realm. And I'm going to go with Chopper. Got Chopper here at 61. You know, he's that droid's a G, and I've already explained in the last episode why droids tend to fall on my list a little bit. No matter how much I enjoy them, they kind of fall down the list as, you know, there's only so much development you can get from a droid as compared to a lot of other characters. But I fucked with Chopper, and you know, Hera and Chopper coming up together, and you know, we see that in the Bad Batch and their connection. Ultimately, at the end of Rebels, it's Chopper and Hera again. They were all fighting at the Battle of Endor. I love that. I love that for Chopper and the gang. But
Chopper is pretty. I love me some Chopper.
Yeah.
I can get behind droids. Like there's just because they're not human and like there's not enough there. I like there's some droids that just hit different with me.
Just hit a different bone for you.
And there's only two that like really hit different that are high up pretty much.
Yeah.
Both astromechs. Chopper's one of them. So I'll save some Chopper talk, but yeah,
some chop talk.
Love me some Chopper. 60. It's Grief Karga. Love me some Grief Karga. He's
he'll be next episode for me.
Oh, I imagine he was higher up on yours, but like I don't know, just Apollo Creed, you know, like
Carl Weathers
in Star Wars. Like for one, that's just cool, and he like just is perfect for this role. Like,
oh, he's outstanding.
I don't know, I just like his voice just fits the guild leader. Like, I don't know, it like everything about him just like it fits this role.
That's what I'll say about the Mandalorian specifically in terms of their casting is they've figured out exactly who fits where in the universe, like perfectly. With Peli and with Grief Karga and with the client and shit like that. True. Like those people all were exactly where I would expect them to be. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes perfect sense. And I love Grief Karga, dude. I love Grief Karga.
He was gonna betray Mando, but then killed his two boys. You know, that was quick. That was sick. You know, letting us know that he's still about. Hey,
he's Grief Karga's about it too.
He's still. You know, I don't think you become, you know, a top guild member without being, you know,
about it.
You got to be about it. So, yeah, love me some Grief Karga. Felt like he, you know. For me at least was around here. But he could go higher.
Not too much higher on mine, but he will be next episode.
Yeah.
Barely. But yeah, with my 60, I went prequel trilogy again with Sabe, the stand-in handmaiden for Padme, who was the queen. We saw most of the movie in The Phantom Menace, played by Keira Knightley. You get a lot more expansion on her in the books I'm reading right now, and therefore Sabe has become very, very I like her a lot. And I especially like her in the Vader comic run, where she is the leader and founding member of the Amidalans, those chasing whoever did end to Padme. She's the founding and leading member of that party. She's dedicated, man, to Padme. That's her life. She is going to.
That's awesome.
So when Padme died, it was like a personal, what have I done? Like, I failed.
It's cool that like these characters like just strengthen Padme even more. Like their will, like just seeing their will. Like I don't even know like all the deep, I haven't read the novels, but like just hearing that like they're so dedicated to Padme that they will do anything to find like who killed her and like after, like that's just so cool. Like for Padme. Like that just even strengthens Padme for me.
Padme's seen a huge boost for me in the last couple years as far as where she'll fall on this list. But the older I've gotten, the more I've appreciated Padme, and the more I appreciate Padme, the more I appreciate the Phantom Menace, and the more I appreciate the Phantom Menace, the more I appreciate every character in that fucking movie. But yeah, Sabe at my 60, she's dope.
Moving on, I got 59. I have Bo-Katan here. In the Mandalorian realm, and with her like live action, appearances too, pretty cool. Seeing her in live action. But everything that we've gotten from her before, more dark saber stuff, so automatically cool. Mandalorian automatically cool.
Yeah, she's popping up in a couple spots for me. She'll be soon in this episode, but Bo-Katan, man, she's awesome. She's just one of those defining badasses for the Mandalorian image. Like it's like, I think of Din, I think of I think of Boba, even though maybe not. And I think of Bo-Katan. Those are some go-to straight off rip. But yeah, that's a good choice for sure.
That was 59. Yeah, we're getting there. Like we're getting close.
We are getting there.
To some main people.
I think from here on in, I've got some pretty big names, and then some that are like, oh, okay, cool, that's pretty high. But my 59, the next Mandalorian, I would say I think of when I think of Mandalorian, Sabine Wren, of the Rebels cast, got her at 59 here. Really, really fuck with Sabine. Have her above Zeb and Chopper as far as the Rebels crew goes. I really love Sabine. She's really cool. I love the artwork she does. She's got a real cool personality. She's super badass, just epically badass. And whatever live action holds for her, I'm very, very excited to see where that goes in Ahsoka. Hope she's reunited with Ezra and they can have their attachments and so on. But
I'll say my Sabine talk. But man, she's pretty high up for me. I like me some Sabine. I like just Rebels in general. I connected with a lot more. I don't know why. I really liked Rebels. Like just
now, yeah, Rebels is I think it's my favorite show. Like as far as the animated series go, I like the Clone Wars for what it's doing, but as a continuous narrative, the Rebels is a better story about a found family.
It's that found. It has to just be the found family thing. Like,
it's brilliant.
It's more of a just continuous story too. They do kind of jump around and stuff, but like it is way more continuous and still have like the cool moments that you have in Clone Wars. Like Vader pops up. Like in Rebels, like that's a thing that happens.
Vader, Ahsoka, Maul, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
People have been like, I've seen people on Twitter like, oh man, you know what should really happen in the Kenobi live action series? Maul versus Kenobi on Tatooine. Well, if you'd like to see that, go ahead and watch Star Wars Rebels. Let's go.
And then some people were like, okay, well then just do the exact same thing, but just do it live action. And like, but like.
Why at that point?
Like, I mean, sure. I'd like to see it, I guess, happen in live action.
Yeah, like I'd like to see like a flashback, but even so, this takes place before that.
Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of weird. But I don't know. I'm like for Sabine. If she's coming in, hopefully like with some Darksaber training,
I hope
stuff
she's training
that's
then.
gonna be so freaking cool. So
She gets to pass like Ezra and Sabine get to pass on what they've both learned from Kanan to their respective pupils, and Dan and Grogu. I think it would just be so fucking cool.
Oh,
But yeah, that's why Sabine falls at my 59. It's just a really cool way to honor Kanan. You know, like
the new
like
family,
if Kanan
the
would
new
be
Rebels. Like Rebels 2 is just this crew. Din,
adding
Grogu,
Din and
Sabine, and
Grogu.
Ezra. Like
Kind of makes sense. Like I think he'd fit right in. But
I guess if I'm moving along here, this is going somewhere else.
Entirely.
Somewhere else we got Watto.
Watto.
What are you doing? But this is the character that I was mentioning of a thing in Star Wars that I didn't realize that was there. That's kind of a little like it's a little
there's some anti-Semitic undertones there.
As a kid though, when my brain was all innocent and none of that was in my head, like just the way he spoke was like funny enough. Like I don't know, just as as a kid, like this was just like very memorable character. Like
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Annie, little Annie. Yeah, like it's like everything he said. Your Jedi tricks don't work on me. He's just.
I remember the Lego Star Wars where you hear him like doing his mumble and then hitting the fucking battery, like the engine, like.
Yeah, just all of the anti-Semitic stuff aside, just as a character here, it was just someone that like stuck with me through the prequels. You know, it was just someone that, like every time he was on screen, I'm like I know that guy, and he's like a weird looking dude. He's super ugly, and his wings are in no way big enough and flapping fast enough to keep him flying at all. But like I don't know. I was just I
don't give a fuck.
It's just such a character for that some reason stuck with me through the prequels whenever I watched him, and like I think it's just his voice pretty much and just like the lines that he says. I don't know. I think that's like really that's it. But he's just like that. He's not iconic, but he's like iconic to me.
No, yeah, the prequel babies. This is a pretty memorable character, to be sure. Like Watto is as Star Wars to me as any other Star Wars character, you know. And as far as alien designs go, yeah, that's certainly a memorable one.
But
yeah,
I don't know if he deserves 58 though. That like I've like
might be a little high,
him, but like I mean I don't know. It's just like me and my brother would just have so many back and forth Watto thing. Like we would just talk in his voice all the time. Like it's just a thing that's just like
hey, you know, if that's something that you love about Star Wars that you associate and resonates with you on a level just because it's something that's from your childhood, that's reasonable.
I mean,
you know
I guess he popped in my mind before like that's how this list happened. Like from here on, like it's just like pretty much how they popped in my mind. And like there's some very small adjustments made for like ones that were like, okay, no, that one goes back up. But this is pretty much like how they came to my mind. And that's like at this point, and that's like pretty much in that order of how they came to my mind, like kind of made sense. And I'm like, you know what, it makes sense that it's falling in this order because like I'm just thinking of my favorite characters. Like, so like at this point, it's kind of, that's what I was weighing it against, like everyone that was coming up here. And it just so happens that Watto comes up a lot in my mind when I think of Star Wars. So
that's, you know, to each their own, you know, and I think there's something to the idea that like, depending on when you're born, that's kind of when these characters will resonate with you the most. And I think that's indicative, especially of your sequel trilogy rankings, you know, like you weren't a small child seeing these characters for the first time. You were a small child seeing Watto for the first time. That's why you love Watto. You know, like that's you reflect on Watto lovingly. And That makes a lot of sense. The nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Yes, it is. Very powerful.
But yeah, with that, I'll go on to my 58, in which little bit of a pivot in terms of prominence in the Star Wars saga. I've got General Grievous at 58.
Okay.
Yeah, a little for a prequel baby might be a little low. I'd say
he's pretty close here for me. So
yeah, it was just like where he's at. It's like I fuck with the design.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, how much am I really fucking with General Grievous? He's really dope looking, but like he's kind of an asshole, and I think that's well known. Freaky as fuck looking, crazy that is something that we could make possible in 2005. That character look like that. That's insane. Just a brilliant, the original mod.
True. True.
Modded out his whole
mod.
body.
Yeah, he's addicted to the mod.
He's
lost in the mod sauce. You could say. But yeah, he's
addicted to what his mod dick did.
Wow, whoa, that was a bar. He's coming up. He'll come up in next episode, but pretty soon in next episode. So
I figured he was probably a little higher.
The gap is not that big. Not that big here, but yeah, the dude needs to stop smoking. He sounds like he's
Shinobi.
Yeah. He smokes at least 40 packs a day, maybe. I don't know.
Just his whole fucking cough thing, like the whole fucking movie. It's fantastic, though.
My 57, going Clone Wars here. Mother Talzin.
Mother Talzin. I thought about Mother Talzin. I'm glad she made your list.
She was one of, I think, in my character design draft, I think I picked her. It's just she looks so cool. Like that's
a really dope character.
That's
design.
And like her powers, like the whole storyline that they're involved into. Like Maul's up in there, Ventress is up in there. Like this, so like the storyline's cool. I don't know. I just don't really have like much to say about her. It's just that she looks so cool. That whenever I was watching her during the Clone Wars, I was like, "Ooh, just give me more of her, like on screen, like the voice, like everything was just so cool." So, just a Star Wars character, very
another one of those Clone Wars characters. You think of the Clone Wars, Mother Talzin, you're not getting her anywhere else. That's a really cool character for sure, and the Night Sisters overall, just a really. The Dathomir, just a really interesting place in Star Wars lore, and the more you learn about it in like Jedi Fallen Order and stuff, the cooler it becomes. And yeah, Dathomir is just a really cool place in all of Star Wars. So Mother Talzin, that's a really good choice. My 57 is BD1. Love me some BD1. This is my third highest droid behind the big boys. The main two. I love this kid. He's cute as fuck.
Yeah, he is.
I remember playing Jedi Fallen Order for the first time, just like, holy shit, he's my favorite character.
He's so
this
cute.
Guy is so cute. A little MVP.
He's so cute.
He's
the
adorable.
Noises he makes, his little movements, how excited he gets for things. He's a zip line. He can show you things. He's your map. Oh my god, he's
dude's fucking cute.
He can show you where to put a part on your ship, if you're building a ship. Wow, what a guy.
BD1, best dude.
Yeah, best dude 1. He is the first best dude.
Yes.
Wow. But yeah. Wow, that's
if I had the option, if I had the opportunity, like at my wedding, not in place of a best man, just on my shoulder, I would have BD1 as I was getting married.
Oh my god, that'd be so
riding
awesome.
On my back.
Oh, that'd be so sick. That would be awesome. Wow. Didn't even think of the implication. A wedding. Wow.
It's my best dude.
My best dude 1. Wow, that guy. Wow. All right. moving on from wow, what a guy. But moving on to another Mandalorian and a clone as well. Jango Fett pops up here
Jango
for me.
Fett.
And it's kind
That'll
of
be next episode.
I'll mention it here for Miles. The head rolling out of the helmet, I think it's officially canon with the shadow. There's a shadow of two separate, there's a helmet and there's a head. There's two different shadows. So like the head definitely was in there.
The head rolled out.
So yeah, okay, it's canon, cool. But now that's out of the way. The head, that Boba had to go through that. It's Jango Fett. They decided to base an entire clone army off this one man.
Fantastic.
And I don't know. That has to feel pretty good. Like, can you imagine being the only human amongst however many clones there are? Like, you're the one. You're Neo. Like that. Like that's like I don't know. That's pretty.
Yeah, you
cool.
got to feel pretty good about yourself at that point.
I mean, he even was like, "Yo, give me a kid. Just give me one. Like,
give me one of me, bro.
I just want one. Make him age slow.
Give me a little mini me.
Yeah, give me one. His blaster noise, is clean.
That fight with Kenobi and Attack of the Clones is so fire.
And the slave one, those blaster noises.
The introduction to the seismic charge.
True. Damn. Yeah, Jango Fett. He was the guy at the time in the universe. Who else did they base it off of? They have to pick that guy. I don't know. Maybe there were other candidates that just weren't willing, but or maybe they had to go with a human, because Empire and all. But maybe Cad Bane would have been a sick clone army. Can you imagine? Just Cad Banes everywhere.
Horrifying.
But yeah, Jango Fett.
Maybe there's something about human DNA that is more easily replicable.
True. But yeah, that's 56 there. Jango Fett. It's that dude.
All right. Jango Fett. He'll be popping up next episode for me. Pretty early on. But all right, with my 56, I went Asajj Ventress. Another Night Sister there. She was a badass, trained by your man's Count Dooku. Yes, I fucked with Asajj Ventress, and her popping up to kind of not help Ahsoka and her little excursion when she's running from the law, but to kind of be like, hey, so you see, right? You get it. You see what's fucking up around here. And I think she's a really important character that isn't. She's as important a character can be without overall affecting the narrative. It's pretty insane, how connected and tied to most of the story she is without being there.
Damn. That is kind of
by way of the prequel trilogy prominently, but
it's wild.
The way she affects Ahsoka is pretty permanent to Ahsoka's character, I'd say.
Which is
just really cool.
She's in episode 1 of the Clone Wars too. She shows up right away. And
she was also originally she was always thought to be Dooku's apprentice. That wasn't just that Clone Wars. 2D micro series Clone Wars also had a version of Asajj Ventress. That's
cool.
They were like, yeah, that'll be Dooku's apprentice. There was always this plan for some badass assassin lady to be Dooku's apprentice.
And she has Dooku's fighting style, but with 2, blades, which is just sick to see. I can only imagine my guy with 2 blades, what he would be looking like. But he'll be mentioned much later on.
Much later, I'm assuming.
But yeah, I guess moving on to my 55 is Saw Gerrera. Did you already mention Saw? or no?
No,
Okay.
Saw Gerrera will be popping
Okay.
up for me later
That's
on.
what I thought. But I don't know that whole what's the planet? Geonosis?
Or Jeddah?
Is it the Clone War? Is it Clone Wars or Rebels? Where the
Oh yeah, Rebels where the Geonosians are all zombified.
and they're like looking for something there, and then there's like one Geonosian like that like tries to tell them like Death Star, and they're like circle within a circle. What could it mean? You know, he's like trying to tell them like Death Star, but like I think that they'd mistake. Like I forgot what they think that it is or whatever. Is that what that storyline was? Yeah, like that. And like how Saw was like integrated in there. How he was like that. Like that was pretty cool. And like him and I don't know. Just every time he pops up, it's always cool. Like
his tragic origin story where his sister dies and the Jedi had trained them to help. Like, and you know he's kind of a legend for being trained by Captain Rex and Anakin Skywalker amongst like I remember in the Bad Batch whenever Tech's like that's Saw Gerrera.
That's he
trained by Anakin Skywalker and Captain Rex to defend his home.
He's known. That's he's I don't know. He's a cool dude. You know, he's above Jango Fett, you know. So
yeah. No, yeah, he'll be above Jango Fett on mine as well. Yeah, that's a relative difference. Not the biggest we've had, but definitely not the smallest either. Yeah, all right, that was your 55?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, my 55 is Admiral Thrawn. Little low than most might put him, but just given what we've gotten in Rebels, he's a really cool character, and I've read the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and you know I don't know what it is that I'd always heard all this like Thrawn, like this dude is the shit. And I watched Rebels and I was like, oh yeah, you know he's cool, he's cool. And then I read the books and I was like, okay, well I heard Rebels was not as cool a version of Thrawn as the books. I don't think that really stands to reason. I think it's pretty honorable adaptation.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because like if Rebels is not a good adaptation of Thrawn, then damn, because I like Thrawn.
No, Thrawn's dope. You know, like he's really intelligent. He's really smart. Really a badass dude. But yeah, he never hit for me the way that it seems he hits for a lot of people. But nevertheless, top 55, and this list is nothing to scoff at. I fuck with all these characters.
Yeah,
to be sure.
He won't even be in next episode.
Ooh, yeah, so, love that.
So I like me some Thrawn. So I guess I'll save some talk for him. All right. Next up for me, 54 is Chirrut Imwe. Really? Did the Force? I am one with the Force. He did it.
He did it. He's also my 54.
This guy's insane. This guy.
That's the second time that's happened. Wow. You know, we had Admiral Holdo was both of our 82s, right?
Wow. What are the odds?
Yeah.
2 of them.
Chirrut Imwe and Admiral, and I don't know what it was, but I was looking at it as I finished Admiral Thrawn, and I was like, his next one's going to be Chirrut fucking Imwe. And then you said Chirrut Imwe, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Wow. That's insane. He's truly one with the Force. We are all one with the Force. It couldn't have worked out any better.
It couldn't have. That's like the ideal character for this to have happened on.
I guess it could happen like at the top pretty frequently, maybe. Like there's a higher chance of it happening. But it's crazy.
Being in the bottom 50 lining up is crazy.
That's insane. Yeah, the fact that an 88 or 82 and 54 lined up is mad. That's mad. That's a wizard.
That's a wizard.
That is
wizard.
You know what's correct? The only other mention of wizard, is Anakin's little friend. And so Din is Anakin's friend all along.
Well, there's theories that
That's
Kumail Nanjiani's confirmed to be cast in Kenobi, and that he'll be playing an adult version of that kid who is Anakin's friend in the Phantom Menace.
Din's dad.
It's Din's dad.
That'd
be something.
Kind of wild, but I think wizard. Yeah, wizard's just a general Star Wars term. But that's sick though.
It just means dope.
Yeah, wizard.
Wow,
that's crazy that lined up though. Wow, we don't even have to like say anything. That like
no, yeah, you know he's one with the Force and the Force is with us apparently.
Wow, that just.
But yeah, all right. So both of our 54s were Chirrut Imwe. Watch Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
The part where they put the bag over Chirrut's head and he's like, "Are you kidding me? I'm blind." That shit's hilarious.
That dude's not blind though. He can see. He can see
better
than most. Wow. Huh.
King shit.
I guess moving.
But I'll go to my 53 then.
All right.
And it's one that you've already thrown out. It's Bo-Katan. Super dope Mandalorian. I don't exactly completely agree with her on every occasion. However, still really cool. Katie Sackhoff has brought the character to life in a really cool way. And anytime, someone is translated from animation to live action and the casting can be kept the same, that's really cool. That's like really, really cool. I wish it could have happened on more than just this occasion. However, take the dubs where you can get them, and Bo-Katan's certainly one of them with Katie Sackhoff. Super fucking cool. And a little extreme, given that she was a Death Watch Mandalorian under a reign by her sister. Some pretty intense disagreement there. But Bo-Katan.
Yeah, so not too far apart.
She was your sister, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My 53 is another droid. I have, I think, let's see, 2 more droids before the big 2. But this one is This one's K2SO. This is where he falls for me. I love me some droids, and man, he was funny. Like, he was like actually funny. And the sacrifice play, he has that. That was amazing. And like badass too. That dude was about it. He could put some work in. Clotheslined like the fuck out of Cassian, right? Didn't he? Like, is that a thing that happened? I think
smacked the fuck out of him. Yeah, like backhanded him.
That had to hurt. Like that had to hurt so bad. But I don't know. I love K2SO. Like he was just
apparently it was improvised.
That's sick.
Apparently K2SO, like whoever was playing him, smacked Cassian, and then you watch Cassian like hold his face, and Jin like looks away, like, oh my fucking god, I'm about to break. Like,
oh, for real? That's awesome. That's sick.
Yeah, it's super fucking funny. But then they had to incorporate it into the dialogue. Like, I'm sorry about hitting you, and he's like, it's all right, man, just go. Yeah, like,
huh?
That's absolutely love.
Yeah, but
I absolutely love that.
I love me some K2SO.
The Rogue One crew, man, it's just hard not to love.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
the Rogue did. Have I said her yet? Okay, good. I was like, if
K2SO is your highest,
yeah, in the Rogue One, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, good, but no, he's not. But yeah, my 53, K2SO.
All right, cool. I can appreciate that. K2SO is definitely one of the best droids in all of Star Wars. But so that leaves us with 2 left each, right? 52 and 51.
Yep.
All right. Let me throw out my 52 then.
All right.
I've got Wicket the Ewok. I fucks with the Ewoks, and I just had to give them some representation on my list.
I'm glad.
This is the little dude who meets Leia in the forest, and she offers him his hat, and he's like scared of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the Ewok.
The one that everyone thinks of when you think of Ewoks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, the
exactly.
one. Yeah,
You know, you see him at the end of Rise of Skywalker with his little Ewok son
yeah.
looking up in the sky and seeing the First Order's falling. Like, hey, good shit, Wicket. You've made it. But yeah, you know, my love of Return of the Jedi kind of propels Wicket the Ewok really high. In comparison to some other characters who are probably more on the same level as him. This is my Watto. You know, this is the one that I was like, doesn't get a lot of, obviously doesn't have any lines, doesn't have a ton of screen time, but boy oh boy do I love Wicket the Ewok. That's my guy, and therefore Wicket comes at my 52.
All right, my 52 stick with the furry people a little bit. Got Black Chrysanthemum right here for my 52. Yeah, new character here. I guess there is some novelization stuff with him and some comic stuff with him, but I don't know. I only know Book of Boba, Black Chrysanthemum, and that's enough for me already. This dude's badass. I wanted to see him rip apart all of those Trandoshans. I'm just sad. It kind of is more badass. It's just implied that he did that, you know.
Yeah.
Don't even need to show you. It's just implied that he did that.
Yeah, of course he did that. Duh.
Yeah. But you know, we're not done with him. He's the he's gonna be the muscle, you know.
That's the enforcer here in this era. No, yeah, I'm with you. My 51 is Black Chrysanthemum.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. My 51 is Black Chrysanthemum. So one separating us here.
Almost.
So I'm going to stick with you. Yeah, Book of Boba, really awesome introduction and live action for that character. First time we're seeing a Wookiee besides Chewbacca in a really long time since Revenge of the Sith, if I remember correctly. And what a fucking Wookiee to bring to life. Super fucking cool. Just an awesome character design. I can't get over it. And
those
soon as he popped up in that first time in the Book of Boba, his knuckle crushers or whatever, knuckle crunchers or knuckle dusters, that's what it was. Legendary. Yeah, but yeah, Black Chrysanthemum tops off my list here for part 2 of the top 100 Star Wars characters.
To top mine off is a pretty cool character that is a little controversial, I guess, but it's Jar Jar Binks. Darth Jar Jar. Got to throw that one in there real quick.
Next episode for me, buddy.
But yeah, Jar Jar. Everything just seems to go his way. Not at first, but then awfully suspicious. You know that everything goes his way in the end.
Curious.
Could I don't know. I mean, we think this guy Palpatine pulls all the strings, but I think he might answer to someone himself, you know, and who
I think it might be Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah, but I don't know, his Clone Wars appearances are kind of like the voice is like kind of all over the place, like in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, it was passed around by a few guys, voicing him.
I think it's just even more hilarious that they did that. Just kind of makes it even more funny.
And the guy who played Jar Jar Binks deserved some fucking credit. You know, Ahmad Best did dirty by the Star Wars fandom at the time. Obviously, our age appreciates Jar Jar a lot more than a lot of people did back then.
Cool.
But yeah, Jar Jar Binks, that dude's the shit.
Oh yeah. Even if he's not Darth Jar Jar, which he like 99% is,
fairly certain at this point.
Yeah, he's got everything will go wrong. Anything that can go wrong will go. It's a perfect example of Murphy's Law.
Yes. Anything that can happen will happen.
And sometimes it works out in your way, and it just so happens with Jar Jar. And he's just that goofy guy that we, as kids could just. He's funny. He can jump really high. He's got in Lego Star Wars, you get a lot of mini kits with him.
Yeah.
He can jump, get to a lot of good places. That
fucking sound.
I think it's fitting that Jar Jar just, that he that's how this will finish,
That's a good place to leave this week, I'd say. I'd say to be sure. But with that, we conclude part 2 of our top 100 favorite Star Wars characters, 75 through 51. If you want to know what they were, go back and listen. With that, I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Oh, it was always a pleasure to have you. We'll see you next week for Top 100 Star Wars Characters, Part 3, where we're doing 50 through 25, or 50 through 26. And then Part 4 will be 25 through number 1. Very excited indeed. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I'd love it if you'd head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find a bunch of exclusive content not available anywhere else. And then after that, if you would, head on over to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast, leave a rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That'd be huge for us. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And it was Darth Jar Jar all along.